Yo, what is going on, everybody? You have Tone here, and I am here bringing you guys my team builder and battle for week number 6 of the IBL season number 5, where this week your Miami Malamarlins are taking on the Chester Chinchous and their coach JoesphGames. Be sure to check him out. His links and stuff will be in the description down below. He is the one who records my Wi-Fi battles, and I cannot thank this guy enough for doing it for me. Really helps me out a lot in that regard. So yeah, it's really gonna be a fun matchup, not gonna lie. If you guys missed our last battle in the IBL, we did take on Techno and the Carolina Pantherians, and we did unfortunately lose that game 3-0. So we are now heading into this week 6 matchup 1-4 and second to last in our conference. The only person behind that's doing worse than us in our conference is Joseph, who is coming into this week 6 battle 0-5. But just because he hasn't won a game yet doesn't mean I want to take his team for granted or under prep at all. His team is still very, very threatening. He has a lot of offensive threats that my team does have a lot of trouble with. Not even just starting the fact that he does have the Manaphy and the Latios. I guess the saving grace behind it is the fact that his Z captain is the Latios, not the Manaphy. So not having to deal with Z Manaphy is a bit more beneficial. It's a bit less more troublesome in that regard. So there's that. As for the rest of his team, he has the Vileplume, Florges, Decidueye, Blaziken, Megamaynetric, Weezing, Malamar, Probopass, and Sandslash. So overall, his team is just threatening his team is very threatening from an offensive standpoint. You just look at stuff like Manaphy, have checks to it, but not full on counters. Latios can be a little bit of an issue if he runs the right set. Megamaynetric can be a bit tricky just because of the fact that he doesn't necessarily have to run Hidden Power Ice. Like, I feel like if he brings Megamaynetric, it would have to be Hidden Power Grass just to have something to 2 KO Seismitoad. So if he decides not to bring like Vileplume or whatnot, he could bring like Energy Ball Florges or Energy Ball Manaphy, Grass Knot, whatever the case may be, for Seismitoad and feel more comfortable about that. But in and of itself, Megamaynetric is still a little bit of a problem, even though I have 2 electric immunities on my team. And I tried to prepare for everything as best as I could. The other kind of an issue with my team can be the Blaziken, because as you see by my team, I'm not bringing my Seismitoad at all in this game, just because of the fact that there were some issues with trying to justify bringing Seismitoad in this matchup, considering the fact that, as I mentioned, grass coverage on Manaphy is like a given in this matchup. He has the Vileplume, which obviously I'm not going to stay in against, but it can still be a bit of a problem. The Decidueye can be problematic. Hidden Power Grass, Megamaynetric is there. Well, it had some good matchups against a good portion of his team, mainly his 2 Stealth Rockers being the Probopass and the Sandslash, which are both weak to either water or ground. I just didn't have the space to try to fit Seismitoad on this team, and I felt as though the team I built was very solid in and of itself, so I'm not really complaining in that aspect at all. So let's just jump right into the team builder and see what we're rocking for this week. So first and foremost, I didn't talk about it in the end of my last video, but I did make some transactions to this current roster. So as you see on this team, I no longer have Superior, unfortunately, and I don't have Sylveon. I dropped both of them to make these transactions work for week 6. So dropping Superior and Sylveon, I picked up Clefable, as you see on your screen, picked up Lurantis, and I picked up Cinccino. So basically, the main takeaway from this set of transactions was to pick up Clefable in this match for my team, because to be perfectly honest, I said it at the beginning when I first took over this team. I was trying my best to find some way to get rid of Sylveon on this team. Not saying Sylveon is bad, but I just could not see how Sylveon fit this team at all. And when I saw Clefable was dropped, I had to pick that thing up right away, because that was the one Pokemon I knew I wanted. That was the one fairy I wanted to make this team more complete. And when Clefable got a drop, I had to get on. I had to snag up Clefable. Unfortunately, in order to make the points work out, that means I had to drop Superior in order to make the this transaction work. So had to do a little bit of adjusting here. So that's why I picked up Lurantis. I keep my grass type. Lurantis is essentially slower, worse Superior at a discount. It essentially does the exact same thing as Superior without the speed factor and whatnot, so there's that. And Cinccino I picked up mainly because I wanted to have at least one Pokemon faster than base 110s, which was Superior's role. But since I don't have Superior anymore, I wanted to have something to replace it with, and I picked up Cinccino because I had the points to do it, and there really wasn't anything left in free agency that fit the style that I wanted to go with. So that explains Cinccino. So just go on from there. So first Pokemon you see, now that we get into the team builder aspect of this match, first Pokemon you see here, we have the Clefable rocking Unaware, Wish, Protect, Heal Bell, and Moonblast. With leftovers, this is my response to any setup variant of Manaphy, Calm Mind, Latios. Do have to be wary of potential Trick Scarf sets, as I can just severely cripple my Clefable. And Moonblast in and of itself, which is very spammable against this team, its only resists being the Vileplume, the Weezing, and the Probopass, which they all really lack reliable recovery, so it's not that big of a deal. And more often than not, whenever I have my Clefable out, I'm going to be clicking Wish anyway to heal up any member of my team if I have to. And then Wish Protect just goes really, really nice with my Drapion, as you'll see in a moment. And then I have Heal Bell to heal my team of potential burns and toxics and whatnot. Just a very nice utility move in general. And like I said, Moonblast is just spammable, no drawback on my Clef here. So as for the investment, mostly physically defensive to take on the likes of stuff like the Decidueye, Blaziken, stuff like that. The special defense investment prevents my Clefable from being 2 KO'd by a modest Thunderbolt from Mega Manectric from full, as because of the speed tiers, my fastest Pokemon being Cinccino, his Mega Manectric can afford to run modest in this matchup. So that's the reasoning behind the investment on my Clef. So now moving on here to our sixth Pokemon, we have our Drapion here back again. With Black Sludge, Battle Armor, Taunt, Toxic Spike, Knockoff, and Poison Jab. And like I said, Wish Protect just goes very, very nice with potential T-Spikes. I know he has a Vileplume, but I feel like I can pressure the Vileplume enough to the point where I can still find a way to get up T-Spikes with my Drapion here. Taunt is just there to prevent stuff like Florges from going for Wish, try to heal up its teammates and whatnot. And then Dual Stab is just nice in general. Poison Jab for the Florges. Mainly, and then Knockoff just to get rid of some items. Scout for a Z move, a Z Crystal on Latios, stuff like that. Nothing much else to say about that. Eevee Spread, pretty straightforward. It's just especially defensive set enough, which has allowed me to check stuff like Florges, check the Latios, and I'm running enough speed for a Jolly Max Speed Decidueye. I'm not going to try to speed creep Blaziken, although I could have, and I probably should have. Just because Blaziken is a bit of a threat to this team, as I don't really have a fire resist, or switching to Flare, so it's basically going to be on the back of my Clefable and trying to pressure that thing offensively, that I'm going to try to work around the Blaziken in this matchup. But Drapion can still take a Flare Blitz if need be, knock off its item, or go for Poison Jab if I have the opportunity to. But more often than not, Knockoff is the primary move to click in that situation. So that is my Drapion. Then next up we have our Cinccino. Rockin' Choice Scarf, Tail Slap, Bullet Seed, Knockoff, and U-Turn. Very straightforward set here. Tail Slap just very nice and spammable against his draft. Bullet Seed allows me to 2 a KO. Manaphy, if it's not like Fizz Def. Knockoff is just there for crippling, knocking off stuff from the likes of Latios and Decidueye, but mainly it's for the Decidueye, as it resists Bullet Seed, is immune to Tail Slap, and U-Turn just to get some nice fast momentum on stuff like Latios and whatnot. So running max attack, enough speed for a max speed Latios, rest is an HP. Nothing really much else to say about that. This is my way of revenge killing a potential Latios, a weakened Mega Manetric. As long as I don't miss Tail Slap or it's in range of U-turn, I'll go for that instead. So nothing, like I said, nothing much else to say in that aspect with regards to Scarf Chinchino. And then next up we have one of my primary win cons in this matchup. We have a Double Dance, Thunderous Theory, Nasty Plot, Agility, Thunderbolt, and Dark Pulse. Initially, I could have ran HP Ice. It essentially hits the same targets, but Dark Pulse does hit the likes of Latios and Decidueye harder than Hidden Power Ice, and the electric resists on Joseph's team are still hit pretty doggone hard by Dark Pulse anyway. So stuff like Sand Slash, if it's not Assault Vest, is still 2 KO'd. Probopass takes a good chunk from T-Bolt. Malamar takes a good chunk from T-Bolt. Wheezing T-Bolt. Mega Manetric, if I get up a Nasty Plot, is 2 KO by Dark Pulse. Other than that, the combination of Dark Pulse and Thunderbolt pretty much hits the entire team neutrally. Like I said, Dark Pulse is over Hidden Power Ice to hit the Latios and the Decidueye harder for my Thunderous. So EV Spread, Max Speed, Timid Nature, Outspeed Manaphy. Nearly max special attack, but I'm running 36 EVs in HP to prevent my Thunderous from being one-hit KO'd by a modest max special attack overheat from Mega Manetric after Stealth Rock. So that's what the HP investment is there for. And then next up we have our Mega Gallade with Bulk Up, Drain Punch, Zen Headbutt, and Ice Punch. Again, this just does puts a lot of pressure on Joseph's team. The combination of Drain Punch, Ice Punch, and Zen Headbutt hits its entire team neutrally. It pretty much just comes down to trying to set up before the Malamar goes for the superpowers. I don't have a Ghost type, so nothing's immune to it. Initially, I could have ran X-Scissor too, but if I can if I bulk up before Malamar comes out, then it shouldn't be that much of a problem as far as I'm concerned. So there's that. We're running max speed, to speed tie with the Latios. Nearly max HP, rest, and attack. The attack investment is there to ensure that after a bulk up, I can 2 KO a max HP, max defense, Bold Nature Flourishes with Zen Headbutt. So that's pretty much the idea behind my Mega Gallade investment. And then lastly, just a very straightforward specially defensive Bronzong with Aqua Berry, Stealth Rock 3 attacks, Shadow Ball, Psychic, and Earthquake. Earthquake, it allows me just to do more damage to Mega Manetric as opposed to running something like Toxic, which would be nice, but if I'm able to keep T-Spikes on my field with Drapion, that shouldn't be an issue. Aqua Berry is there, so I get to eat up a Flare Blitz from the Blaziken. It takes the recoil damage, and then I get to hit it with a big Psychic, so that's pretty nice. I also debated on the Steel Stab. I considered running Heavy Slam to do more damage to Florigis, but I also wanted to potentially have a chance to 2 KO Latios, so I kept Gyro Ball. It still does a good chunk of damage to Florigis as well. So nothing much else to say about that. Just a very straightforward, especially defensive set designed to switch in on the likes of Latios, barring like Shadow Ball or Z Shadow Ball, something along those lines. So yeah, that's going to be the team builder. Hopefully this wasn't too long. I didn't want to ramble as much as I did, but let's just switch right over to the battle and see how we do for this week. So as you see by my my opponent decided to bring his Florigis, Sand Slash, Probopass, Mega Manetric, Wheezing, and the Manaphy. So no Latios was a bit surprising, but more surprising, he did not bring the Blaziken, which I am very, very grateful for, because that thing scared me with this current team I built. So I was really, really cautious about how I would deal with a potential Blaziken in this matchup, and the fact that he didn't bring it, I just breathed a huge sigh of relief in this game. So yeah, not to go too much into detail here, what I'm going to do once I saw that he didn't bring the Latios and he didn't bring the Blaziken, I figured it was in my best interest to try to get at my T-Spikes as quickly as I possibly could, because he didn't bring the Vileplume, which means that once I get my T-Spikes up, the only way he can get rid of T-Spikes is either he defogs them away with his Florges, or he has Rapid Spin on the Sandslash. And the fact that he brought Sandslash and Probopass means that one of them has to be the Stealth Rocker. Sorry about that. And the other one would have to be like the supporter in some variation of the sense. I'm assuming the Probopass is just there to try to trap my Bronzong, but it kind of doesn't work because of the fact that he can't hit me with Earth Power. He had to go for like Hidden Power Fire, which isn't doing much to my Bronzong, and I can potentially knock him out with an Earthquake if he's not defense invested. So really interesting to see what he his thought process behind this team, that's for sure. So like I said, I'm going to lead off with my Cinccino. It's essentially the fastest Pokemon on his team. If he leads off with Manectric, I can't really stop him from Volt Switching unless I want to go hard Thundurus. But if you guys recall, my Thundurus is a double dance set, and I didn't want to set up too early, but you'll see what happens as the match progresses. So let's just start the battle here and see how we fare for this week in the IBL. So we are being challenged by Pokemon Trainer Joe. Have fun and all that stuff. So like I said, I'm going to lead off with Swiffer, our Cinccino here, as he leads off with his Florges. So not wanting to take a big hit here. Let's going to U-turn out here, turn 1 here. Just try to get some momentum here, get some damage off on this Florges. It ain't much, but take what I can get. I'm going to go directly out into my Drapion, as it's a bit more, I can freely use it, a bit more expendable. Goes for a Moonblast, and that's doing well over half, and that screams to me, and this is a offensive Florges. This has pretty much next to no defensive investment, so fearing him going for a Poison Jab here, he's going to switch out the Probopass. I'm going to get on my Toxic Spikes here, as I know he wouldn't try to stay and try to take a Poison Jab from this Drapion. I'm going to switch out here now that I got my layer of T-Spikes up, and I'm going to go directly out into my Mega Gallade. I think he's just going to fire off the Earth Power from the Probopass. Not going to do much to my Mega Gallade here. So now, predicting him to switch out of Probopass, that he doesn't want to take a Drain Punch, I'm going to click Zen Headbutt here as he switches out into his Florges. So we're going to get the Mega Evolution off with Mega Gallade, and we're just going to fire off his Zen Headbutt. We do connect, and as you're going to see, that is a 2-hit KO, so this confirms already that he is not running, he's either running just max HP, or he's definitely not running any defense investment on this Florges here. So I'm just going to go for another Zen Headbutt. We connect again, and he's going to let the Florges drop to the Zen Headbutt. So Mega Gallade picking up the first kill in the match. Then he goes on the Probopass, and that kind of surprised me. So I go for Zen Headbutt here because I'm thinking he's trying to bait me. He goes for a Power Gem here. I think he was predicting me to switch at some point, but I was still like in a little bit of confusion here. So I'm just going to go for the Drain Punch and knock out the Probopass here. Didn't really know what to make of that series of events there. I was still kind of confused as to why that was the play, but that's neither here nor there. So now it goes on to Mega Manectric, as I thought he would do before, but like I said, it's nothing really to get worked up over now. So he goes out into his I switch out into my Thundurus Therian as he Mega Evolves his Mega Manectric, as he's going to get the Intimidate off, and he's going to go for a Thunderbolt. As you see, we're not going to we have the Volt Absorb. So here I get a little bit greedy, because I'm thinking, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, he can't possibly have HP Ice. He had HP Ice, so I'm like, yeah, that's... I picked a bad time to set up here. Like, I knew this was more of the late game. Like, the idea was to try to set up with Thundurus in the late game when everything was weakened. I could have set up on like Weezing or whatnot, but I set up on the wrong Pokemon here. So seeing as though he has Hidden Power Ice instead of Hidden Power Grass as I thought, I'm going to go out into my Bronzong here to take the Hidden Power Ice, and the poison damage is just racking up on his team, which is what I wanted in this matchup here. He's going to switch out here and go out into his Weezing here on my Earthquake, so kind of pretty predictable play, but I wasn't trying to mess around with the Mega Manectric. He goes for the reveals Fire Blast on the Weezing as he pops my Aqua Berry as I get up my rocks here, so the added residual damage is now adding up on his team, and if his Sand Slash is Rapid Spin, it's going to have to come in, get poisoned, and then take rocks damage. He goes for another Fire Blast. I'm just going to click Psychic, which is going to be a clean 2 KO on this Weezing. And considering he doesn't have a Psychic resist anymore, clicking Psychic was a no drawback play as it goes out into his Manaphy here, which is going to take the Toxic. It's going to get poisoned, and it's going to take the Stealth Rock damage. I'm going to click Psychic this turn. Try to get some chip damage off of his Manaphy. Like I said, this Manaphy is a threat. Don't want to mess around with this Manaphy, so I'm going to go out into my dedicated Manaphy response, being my Clefable here, as he is going to reveal the Heal Bell on his Manaphy. So Heal Bell Manaphy, wasn't expecting Heal Bell at all in this matchup whatsoever. So this sort of mitigated my Toxic Spike strategy just a tiny bit, but not that much. And next he reveals the Grass Knot on my to hit my Clefable. I said it's gonna afford to go for a Wish here, because even if he try to set up here with his Manaphy, it cannot beat my Clef 1v1 because he is Calm Mind. I mean, he's unaware. Excuse me. So he just force fire off a Skull. He gets the Skull Burn, which is fine. I'm just gonna fire off a Moonblast to get some damage off on this Manaphy here as I get my Wish. As I get back to full HP. And I'm trying to find some way to go for Heal Bell, but I figured at this point, just keep the burn on my Clef here. He knows I'm unaware now, so I'm just going to keep throwing up. I'm going to throw up another Wish, and then I'm going to fire up another Moonblast, either or I go for a Protect, one of those two moves here, because either way, my Clef is beating its Manaphy 1v1. I know there's a way for Manaphy to beat Clef 1v1, but from what I saw already on this team with Heal Bell, Scald, and Grass Knot, I don't think his fourth move is going to be any setup variant at all. So I'm essentially I'm just wearing this thing down. I'm going to go for another Wish here as I give my previous Wish back from the last turn. And here he's going to make the switch out into his Weezing, expecting me to go for Wish. And from here, I'm going to make a very obvious play. I'm going to go directly out into my Bronzong here. If he predicts me and go for Fire Blast and he knocks out my Bronzong, then so be it. Essentially, Bronzong more or less did its job by getting up rocks this turn. So, I'm going to go out into my Bronzong here as he is going to go for Sludge Bomb. As he saw Clef as a big threat to his Manaphy, which does make sense. So here I'm just going to go for the Psychic, I believe, as he goes out into his Sand Slash, as his Sand Slash is now going to get poisoned and take the Stealth Rock damage. I fire off a Psychic this turn. Do some good damage with the Psychic here. So now I'm going to make the play, go out into my Mega Gallade here as he is going to go for the Rapid Spin. Yeah, he goes for Rapid Spin, so he spins away my rocks and my Toxic Spikes. But at this point, I didn't really need T-Spikes up again because the damage had already been dealt to his team, as you're going to see. So I'm going to go for Ice Punch here as he reveals he's Yachi Berry on this Sand Slash, but it wasn't enough to lift the hit. So Sand Slash is going to go down. Mega Gallade picking up its third kill in the match. So he's going to go on to a Manaphy here. I'm going to click Drain Punch. I'm thinking it's a roll in my favor with the Drain Punch, but I get a crit, so there's actually no way of knowing if the roll would have been in my favor or not. So now it comes to Mega Magnetric. This thing, Mega Magnetric cannot 2 KO me with Thunderbolt, but he's gonna go reveal for the Protect, which is an interesting move to say the least. I guess he had the same idea I did with Weezing probably having Toxic Spikes. That's my guess. But as you see, Thunderbolt's not going to do much to my Mega Gallade, and I can 2 KO him with Drain Punch before I can 2 KO me with Thunderbolt, unless I get full parried, which I don't. So Mega Magnetric is going to pick up its 5th kill of the match, and all he has left now is this Weezing. So when it comes to Weezing, I am going to click Zen Headbutt. We are going to connect. And your Miami Malamarlins is going to pick up a 6-0 win over the Chester Chinchous on the back of Mega Gallade picking up all 6 kills in the battle. So, yeah, that was still a fun game, not going to lie. I don't want to disregard the fact that the game ended in a 6-0. Like I said, I wasn't trying to go for a 6-0. It was more so the fact that I was just trying to execute my game plan, which is setting up Toxic Spice with my Drapion, trying to get up rocks with my Bronzong, and really pressure his team with the combination of all my other mons. And I felt like that was a mission accomplished in that regard. But yeah, Mega Gallade, what a performance, picking up all 6 kills in this battle for the Miami Malamarlins. So we get a much needed win in this matchup, moving to 2-4. Still have some work to do to try to make up some ground in the playoff race, but as we hit the second half of the IBL season, I feel like we do have a chance to make some noise heading into these last few weeks of the season. So yeah, other than that, that's pretty much going to be it from me. Good game to JoesphGames. Like I said, his link and stuff will be in the description down below. Please check him out. Very nice guy, very friendly guy. Can't thank him enough for recording my Wi-Fi battles. Like I said beforehand, please don't knock the guy. He is still a fantastic battler. This game does not showcase his abilities as a battler. I know he has the ability to play well. The season hasn't gone the way he wanted it to go, but he's a fighter, he's a trooper. I know he can still win a few games if things go his way. So good luck with that in future weeks, man. You have a very, very scary team nonetheless. So yeah, that's gonna be it from me, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And that's gonna be it from me. And until the next time, guys, this is Tone, signing out for now. Peace out.